Kenner French is the author of Modern Millions.ai, and today we're pulling back the curtain on how AI changes value, decision making, and leverage. It isn't a tech tutorial, it's more of a conversation about the mindset and systems that will separate the people that merely use AI from the people who build an advantage with it. Hey, I'm Elaine Mingus, and today we're here with Kenner French, who is
Woo.
the person in charge at Vast Solutions, and we're going to be talking about kind of if you're a newbie, you know nothing, you are wanting to get into making better financial decisions, you want to learn maybe how to do investments, how to like manage your portfolio. Maybe you don't even know what a portfolio is. We're just going to
Mm,
really kind of like 101, portfolio, investment, AI, how to use it all for dummies type of thing. Okay. And no
mhm.
shame because I've been in
Working.
that group. Like we've all been in that group at some point in our lives. So this is for you if you know nothing. You're at ground zero. And there's no better place to be than ground zero because then you don't have to unlearn some of the bad tips and things that we've maybe learned in our thing. So no better
Yeah.
person to teach you than Kenner French, who is the author of Modern Millions.ai, and he's just at the forefront and cutting technology of AI and investments and finances. He's been in this world for so very long. He's written for some
Mm.
really big names. He hangs out with some of the coolest people in tech and AI. And so I'm introducing him, but tell me a little bit about yourself and how you could help people
Yeah,
that are
first,
just
I would consider myself an expert in artificial intelligence. I've been doing it since 2010, so that's some time. Number one, then number two, yeah, yes, I did write Modern Millions.ai. How to make millions, save millions, or protect millions, all with the use of artificial intelligence. And then I wrote for Forbes.com specifically about for small business owner issues. And then I'm a contributor for the AI Journal. So yeah, I've been writing and thinking about artificial intelligence, specifically how to use artificial intelligence to help entrepreneurs, lower tax liability, increase their worth, and also protect their assets. So I've been doing it for a while, and yeah, I love it. It's worked out. Somehow I'm the number one bestseller in the entrepreneurial space at Amazon. So things have worked out. This book, Modern Millions.ai, here I'll show it to you, has worked out, and I would consider myself pretty darn good at helping people just kind of get going. I have a few stories of how I've helped people get going in artificial intelligence to use AI for their finances.
yeah, yeah. So I'm coming to you and I say, Mr. French, how do I invest? Where do I need to start? What is your number one? Like absolutely hands down, do this thing first. Do not pass star, do not, pass go. This is what you need to do.
You mean relative to artificial intelligence, or relative to just an investment portfolio? Which are you speaking of?
Well, yeah, just somebody that is like, I want to make $1 million. What would you say?
Okay. It depends on the circumstance. What I should say, this is all for educational purposes. So in general, though, what I would say is utilize artificial intelligence to help you get to your next level, whatever that next level is. I don't care if it's making a net worth of 100,000 all the way to a net worth of $1 billion. Artificial intelligence will help you get to your goal. And to do that, though, you have to provide a knowledge base to artificial intelligence. In this case, let's just say, as an example, something called Chat GPT, which is an outshoot of OpenAI, or maybe Anthropic's Claude, or maybe Google's Gemini. Those are three models that are pretty common in today's world. So what I would say is open an account, play around with it, and we can go into specifics. Have it learn about your situation, and then it can help you in your finances. It can really help you in your finances. I can go into real depth if you want, and really how to, get people started, which I'd love to do if you want to do that. So people could, kind of start walking, and then who knows, be ready to run down the road.
Yeah. No, I absolutely would love to know from I mean, because you're talking about like people who are starting from zero. Maybe somebody who's just graduated high school or college and they're
Okay.
living in their parents' house and they've seen how their parents budget and they're like, this is not how I want to live my life.
Okay.
So if I've downloaded ChatGPT, do I just take my Wells Fargo bank statements and start uploading to ChatGPT and hey, tell me how to live my life? Where am I spending too much money?
Uh,
Like, I mean, is that how simple it is, or is there something else that I should do?
I get it. So you're really talking about someone who's brand new. So what I would say, and this doesn't matter if you're brand new right out of college. This doesn't matter if you're, someone who's whatever, 70 years old. Start out with artificial intelligence. So I mentioned, I think, 3 models before. So I would say yes. Open an account at I'll suggest this. Those 3 places. Open an account on Monday as an example. Go to openai.com. Open an account with their chatbot called ChatGPT on Monday, right? Open an account. It can be a free account, okay?
Mhm.
For an hour, play around with it. I don't care if you're looking at personal finances, if you're looking at, asking, holiday gifts, play around with it for an hour. Actually, even tell it your situation. Tell them you're brand new in investing. You want to play around. You want to learn how to, whatever, invest. You want to learn whatever it is you want to do for an hour. Okay, so you've opened an account. Monday night comes, you've already opened up your account at ChatGPT, which is again OpenAI's chatbot. Then the next day, go to Google. Actually, be gemini.google.com. Gemini is Google's AI model, which is large language model. Again, play with it. You could do a free account. Play around with it, right? You don't have to pay, just play around with it for 1 hour. So at the end of, let's say, Tuesday in this example, you've played with 2 different models, 2 different LLMs. First day was ChatGPT, the second day was Gemini. Then the third day, same thing. Open a free account. In this case, go to Anthropic and go to Claude. I think it's AI. Go to Claude again. This is Claude's Anthropic AI model. So what I would say is play around with it for the same hour. So at the end of Wednesday, in my example, you've played around with 3 different models for an hour each. I don't care if it's you put in your finances, it doesn't really matter, right? Just saying this for educational purposes. Now, at the end of Wednesday night, you'll have kind of an idea of which of the 3 you like best. Sound good? All right. So maybe on Thursday, pay for one of the models. Let's just say, I don't care. Let's just say you like the Gemini the best. Pay for an hour and see what the capabilities are after the paid version. I think it's 20 or maybe $30 a month. So then you'll have more capabilities because it's not the free account, it's a paid account, and go a little bit more in depth. Okay. Now on Friday, or no, sorry, Thursday, Friday. On Friday, pay for a second one. Now let's say this case is ChatGPT. So you're going to have 2 paid accounts. You're going to have 2 hours in both. Remember, because Monday and then, whatever, Tuesday, you're going to have 2 accounts. A lot of information about you will be in the knowledge base. And then on Monday, the next day, or the next week, what I would say is of the 2 that you paid, the one that you liked, put in a lot more information.
Mhm.
And then what you do at the end of let's just say, whatever, it'd be on Wednesday, let's just say, go a lot more in depth, try to figure out some of the things that can get you to your goal, whatever your goals are. By then, you'll have a pretty good idea of kind of what your goals are, how to operate with, in this case, whatever Gemini, to get you to your goals. You'll be happy you did because then it will start actually providing some solutions to whatever your, in this case, financial goals, or in this case, maybe your personal goals, whatever the case is. Get a relationship with, quote, relationship with one of the models, and then have a secondary relationship. After you've put in information about yourself and your goals, it will help you more than you would ever expect. That's one way of kind of getting it. That's one strategy of getting, kind of getting your feet wet with artificial intelligence, large language models, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's pretty simple. It's something that I did this with a lady a while back, and she told me the result was it totally changed her life because then she started feeling comfortable about operating with the large language model. In her case, it was
Right.
Gemini.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I think that that tip is good for somebody who's brand new starting out in finances,
Mhm.
and somebody who is just brand new starting out with AI, who maybe has been, he now has millions in the bank, has been in investment, has a big portfolio, but is starting to be like, hey, I want to get ahead in certain areas. I think that that's really important. How safe is AI in your opinion?
Uh, yeah, you mean someone from a new perspective? There's risk in everything we do. But what I would say is, how safe are we if we don't use artificial intelligence? It's worth the risk to use artificial intelligence. And what we say is, all the information that goes into AI is public. And some people say, do I want my public information meaning your financial information to be public. Well, if you do it in such a way that you're a little bit more generic, you don't put your account numbers as an example, but you put your information there. You put your information in the model, whichever the three that we talked about that you enjoy the most, that you enjoy interacting with the most. As long as you don't put account numbers, as long as you don't put social security numbers, it will help you get to your goals. Again,
Mhm.
there's risk, but it's limited risk if you know going into it that whatever information you put in there could potentially be accessed. Now, the likelihood is pretty low because just think of as an example, whatever Claude or Gemini or Open ChatGPT or ChatGPT gets hacked. That's a pretty big downside for them. So the likelihood of that happening probably isn't going to happen, but operate as if it potentially could happen.
Right, right. And, just to be clear, financial institutions get hacked, Google
Uh
gets
huh.
hacked, ChatGPT
Exactly.
gets taken like, it is you know I have friends that, are in, top secret government clearance things, and they're like, "You don't understand how much we're protecting our nation every day against attacks."
Mhm.
And so, anything we do online or even offline, getting in a car, carries some sort of weight of risk. And so, but we've talked about it before many times about being ahead of the curve. You'd rather be an early adopter, which in this case is not super super early because AI is now really really mainstream, but starting today rather than in 10 years when you're really really behind the curve.
Mhm.
Using AI, I think is super smart for anybody. So what are some of the common, as a newbie, like some of the common mistakes beginners make when they're trying to fix their finances?
Yeah, you mean as a brand new, user of, AI? You know, they don't garbage in, garbage out. The more information you put into the system, the better off you will be. When I say the system, meaning the large language model or whichever ChatGPT is an example. If you don't put in good information, it's not going to kick out good information. So that's really important. If you want to succeed in your quest of utilizing the large language model, you have to put in good information. A lot of people don't do that. I was dealing with someone a while back in her finances, and she wanted to, she didn't per se wanted to use us. She wanted to, go it alone. And I looked at, her inputs versus what her outputs were. Her outputs were horrible, but it was because her inputs were horrible. She didn't put in the right information to equal the information, the result that she wanted. And that's key. Again, garbage in, garbage out. If you want the model to help you in your finances, you have to put in a lot of information about you. And if you're paying $20, $30 a month or whatever, it usually can allow for a normal person, for an average person, a lot of information to go in the model. But then again, if you're not taking advantage of what that allows you to do, the result is going to be horrible. It's not going to be in your best interest. So what I would say is garbage in, garbage out. Take advantage of the fact that they allow you to put in so much information, which will help you down the road because you're putting in a lot of information, which is going to kick out a lot of good information.
Yeah. Well, and it's a testament to making sure that you're using that paid model because you can input so
Hmm.
much more. It can remember so much more
Yeah.
about you. There are limitations to the free model. So definitely investing in yourself, the paid model, because it can remember so much more and pulls from
Hmm.
such a bigger database, because there's just limited space, and they can only give so much away for free. And I
Hmm.
respect that as a business owner. So is that
Yeah.
something that you do? Because you have your own model, correct? And is that something you do, that you are like, for the example you gave with the woman that wanted to go in it alone, like, what to put in your model to bring in the right solution, correct?
Mhm,
How does that
mhm,
work?
yeah, we have our own proprietary model. We started in 2018, so we've been doing this for a while. 2018 is a while now. So, it's called Einstein, Einstein, the guy with the crazy hair, right? 2018. So, yes, we have our own models, proprietary. So and we think it's perfect for really the real estate investor, the entrepreneur who's trying to take their business to the next level. We usually work with individuals versus big companies. It could work for both, but it's better suited to individuals, solopreneurs, if you will. But yes, it's our own model, which we think is pretty cool that we started our own model. And it's always evolving. We're always going to, try to make it better versus, someone who's using ChatGPT. ChatGPT is pretty darn good, but ours is suited specifically for tax finance and asset protection.
Mhm, mhm. 'Cause you've gone behind the scenes, and so you have, it operates off of some sort of I'm assuming it has some sort of base model that it uses, and then you're adding in your expertise, everything that you've known because, I mean, the ChatGPT can search the internet, but it's not a GPT that's specifically, geared towards a certain thing. And so your model is really, really full of so much information and data that really can whittle down so much of the extraneous things that sometimes ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude can throw our ways. Is that correct?
100% it's proprietary. So I can go in the specifics, but yeah, it's proprietary. So you can't just get at our model. Or you can't just use chat. And some people think that chat GPT is proprietary if they, put some unique parameters around it. But no, in general, our model is based on this thing called Gemma, which is Gemma 2, I should say, which is it's an open model of Google, but we've built our specifics on it. And so that's what makes it unique. It is very unique. And that's, I mean, the way we look at it is I don't want to just be a wrap around ChatGPT or Gemini. I want to be completely unique and make it so it truly helps taxpayers in this case, or helps investors in this case, being able to be proprietary. We can specialize it for our specific clients.
Mhm, mhm. So is it like is your model, it's open, I'm guessing, to your clients, and they can use it like almost like a business coach or a financial coach? Is that how it's used, or do you input the information for the client and then send out an output to them that's like organized so that they can take it and run with it?
Look at you. Look at Elaine. Our bookkeeping model is open. It's called vastbookie.ai. We're going to change the name. It's horrible. Because we've had it behind the scenes, behind the curtain, but now it's available to anyone. It's for free, by the way. Bookkeeping free. You don't have to pay the software. You don't have to pay for a $300.99 a month bookkeeper. It's free. But all our tax model is behind the scenes, and all of our systems are built on Einstein. But we think, and I think this is going to be the case going forward, we think that the bookkeeping software it should be common and out there. That's the reason we offer that free, but not yet for the tax side. The tax side is a little bit more confusing, but we think that everyone's going to be using free bookkeeping software here pretty soon. I mean, it wasn't that hard. I'll be blunt. It wasn't that hard to put our bookkeeping software out there. But again, why would someone want to pay whatever it is, $40 a month for bookkeeping software, or whatever, hundreds of dollars per month for a bookkeeper when the software could do it and it could do it for free?
Yeah, no, I mean, anything that makes my life easier is, I mean,
Uh,
I know that there's integrations with, QuickBooks and TurboTax but even for some depending especially on your personality, like I'm more of a creative type, like that type of stuff starts to makes my eyes cross because I just like I don't have time for that. Like, can someone else do that? So if I can like dump a bunch of stuff into something and not even have to organize it, that would be that would be my thing. And, it's the best next thing to having, a real live, bookkeeper there, doing I mean, probably even better because ChatGPT and AI models make less mistakes than humans. So even IRS agents and even all those people, they make mistakes. So I mean it happens, but computers are
you're
are the you know, you can tell
you're
us. You know that's better than I do.
You're 100% exact. I mean, you're totally right on. And what I would, if people want us, even if they, there are some people who just want to have nothing to do with it. So yeah, we'll do that service internally at vastsolutionsgroup.com. But yes, if they, maybe they started an entity and they already know bookkeeping and they just don't want to input the information, they can use, our Vast Bookie system, vastbookie.ai. Or again, if they want, they just want to have nothing to do with bookkeeping, we could do all of it. It could be anything in between. That's part of the nice thing here. People could use us if they're cost conscious, or if they want to pay a top dollar and get provided a service, we could do that. So we have a nice, I would say, entry point and kind of a full service point. I mean, I like the way our company is oriented as a result of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's cool. I mean, and when you are able to put in stuff to ChatGPT even, it doesn't unlike a human, and we perceive things, we read the judgment that in people's tones. ChatGPT, it takes away, and our your AI model takes away the judgment factor. So if you throw in your tax returns or you throw in whatever you want to throw in to AI, it's going to send you back a very metered response where it's just very level and, I mean, you can type in your justifications, well, what, but my kid, da, 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 da. Like, this is why I had to buy this and stuff like that. And it's going to be able to tell you something in such a way that makes it easier to digest than having a human tell you. And that takes away a lot of the fear with
Mhm.
finances because finances are super emotional and we can get very, very
Mhm.
like in our head when we're dealing with another human who we see
Totally.
as a tax expert or a financial expert. Well, you feel very like, okay, oh my gosh, Dave Ramsey is going to judge me over here because me and my
Yeah.
husband went out to eat and we put it on our credit card. And AI kind of takes away that part of it. So that's what I really love about AI is that I can kind of reduce any kind of like feeling of being judged. What is
I
one
agree.
habit you you wish that people would stop doing with money and one thing that you wish they would start?
Ooh, dude, that's probably the best question you've ever asked me. What's the huh, the best thing they should start? I should their foundation. I don't think enough investors or entrepreneurs or yeah, uh, set things up correctly initially. That's what they need to start doing, by the way. That's a two-part answer. I mean, they need to be set up with the right entity. They need to make sure that they're consulting with either an LLM or a professional that can help them make sure they're optimizing their tax mitigation strategy. And at the same time, same thing with bookkeeping. So, hopefully that answers kind of both things. People need to set the foundation. I mean, do you want to move into a house that has no foundation? Probably not. It's going to fall down. Same thing with a business and their business, right? And what do they need to do on top of that? On an ongoing basis, they need to come back and review their books on an ongoing basis. Because why would someone want to invest, I don't know, let's say $1 million into their business, but not analyze on an ongoing business, on a quarterly business basis, on an annual basis to see what the rate of return is on their money? A lot of people don't do that.
Mhm.
And I think they need to do that because all you are as an investor is you're selling a widget, right? And you're an investor, meaning you want that enterprise to go up in value. How do you know if the enterprise is going up in value unless you check on it on an ongoing basis? So what I think they should stop doing is not setting up a foundation to their business. And then what I think they should do is on an ongoing basis, making sure that they're checking their books to make sure things are moving along the lines of where they want them to go.
Yeah. And AI really has leveled the playing field
Yeah.
because back in the day, only rich people could afford bookkeepers or people to do their taxes. I know people were all, just doing it on their little government forms and hoping and praying the IRS didn't come audit them. And now, with $20 a month or, working with Fast Solutions, you can now have your own professional bookkeeper. You can have your own, a
Yes.
financial advisor. Like the
Mm.
barrier to entry is so much lower than it ever has been in the past.
Yeah.
And so I think, take advantage of that. Take advantage, even if it's just the free model of AI for sure. But,
Yeah.
definitely investing in yourself, investing in your future, getting the paid version, or even going in another level where you're like, okay, I'm really serious about making, millions in this modern day and age to
Yeah.
do that. So Kenner, if somebody today remembers one thing from today's conversation, what would you hope it would be?
To remember, it's okay and it's smart to use artificial intelligence to help make money, to help save money, and to help protect money. Artificial intelligence is an acceptable advocate for helping you, and don't be afraid to use it.
Yeah. Amen. Amen. AI is your friend and you
Yeah.
can train it to do what you want it to do. So thank you so much, Kenner, for joining us today on this podcast. Again, my name is Elaine Mingus, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
If there's one takeaway from today, is this: AI isn't just a tool, it's a multiplier. The people who win will not be the ones who just consume information, but the ones who build the clearest systems, ask the best questions, but stay human while everything else accelerates.